Good day. You know, it is really strange making these recordings. I really feel for all the people out there that just wing it. Um, I don't usually do this, but this time I sat here and I asked to know something, anything, about what was going to be said. I drew a blank. I even called on my guide. Nothing. I know I'm given to know certain things. For instance, I know I'm not going to be reading a written journal. So I know to speak live, but you talk about clueless. Hello, that's me. C'est moi. So I don't know. Um, the energy this day, this is the 20th of December, has been heavy. It's just been consistently heavy. Um, Not necessarily negative, not pleasant, somewhat oppressive feeling. And I'm not sure what it's about. I'm not worried about it. I'm just sharing about it. We have a truly major eclipse coming up tomorrow, actually at 3 in the morning, Eastern time, I think, 3 something or another. We have a full lunar eclipse. And it's in the last degree of Gemini going into Cancer, just as the sun is in the last degree of Sagittarius going into Capricorn. And it's interesting because we have other planetary alignments that are contributing, and I can't call them to mind right now, but it might be a good idea for people to tune into this because now I haven't looked it up, so forgive me if I misspeak here, but you don't have a full moon unless you've got the sun oppose the moon. You've got the earth in between the sun and the moon. And that's what enables the moon to shine like that. And so you've got an opposition going there, plus you've got the full moon, plus, oh, by the way, it's solstice, and that's a very rare occurrence. And in addition to that, I believe there are a couple of other planets that are conjuncting the sun. Now, when you've got planets, well, we call, all right, sun and moon aren't technically planets, but, for lingo's sake, it's handy. When you've got planets on either side of the Earth, that's what an opposition is. And so what you've got is you've got their energies are flowing out at all times, omnidirectionally. But when you get them lined up to where they're on either side of our lovely blue-green planet, those energies meet in the Earth. They literally meet, mingle, and merge in the Earth. And this is one of the reasons that they have a strong effect. So although I don't know, I don't follow astrology too closely. I know I've been an astrologer before because I got into studying it some when I was in my early 20s, I think. And I was able to give intuitive readings, and I had such knowledge and such knowing flow through me. I just knew things, and I'm much more likely to think that this was from my own other lives than I am to think that I was channeling anything. So there's that. But and next year is a big year too, because next year, if I'm correct, again, check everything anyone says. I believe that there are 4 eclipses slated for 2011, 2 lunar and 2 solar. And it's a full lunar eclipse, which, there's a lot of years between the celestial bodies being set up to give us that full eclipse. More often, obviously, we get partial eclipses. So this is interesting. I have mixed emotions about the moon. It's my understanding and belief. I admit this is a belief because I haven't been there. And I, even out of my body, I would be content with that kind of a knowing, but I do not have direct knowing on this. I just have intuition that tells me uh, when I hear this being said that it is a fact that the moon isn't a real moon, it isn't a real planet. It's hollow, and advanced beings use moons as spaceships. And so not only is it that, but it is also the base and the place where you might say it's manipulation central. I really recommend everybody, just for the fun of it, go watch They Live. You can do a search on it right here on YouTube. I think you can find it's in, 7 or 9 parts or something like that, but you can watch the full movie. And it's a bit of a low budget affair, and it's from a number of decades ago, but it has such relevance to now that it's stunning. It's shocking and it's fun. Okay, it's a scary flick, and I won't give you the plot, but go watch They Live. And I do believe the moon is a major base of operations for the manipulation of mankind. Um, that's one of the reasons we haven't been back to the moon. We were told to stay away, and it's already occupied, and we're not in charge there. We're not in charge here, folks. But anyway, I guess I'll ramble a bit. Why not? Um, the Matrix. Pulling out of the Matrix. I'm beginning to see where it's possible that this might be as simple as the no mind, as pulling out of mind. Mind itself might be kind of a dark construct. Now, I don't know. I'm just rambling here. Okay, here's the deal. Whenever I get energies that are settling on me, whether it's these heavy energies or any kind of an energy where it's not coming to resolution, it's not letting up, it's not resolving, and it's not showing itself to me in a way I can understand it, I go and I journal. So that's what I'm doing here. And I just go with the flow of whatever comes up. So, you've got to be in your heart and trusting your own intuition for what resonates with you. If nothing else, maybe it'll set an example and uncork some of you so that you can trust your own flow and maybe turn on the webcam. You don't have to make them public, but just start with the words, get the flow of words going. And it's like a stream, it's like a river or a stream, and you can receive illumination, enlightenment, guidance. You can, it's magical, it can be beneficial. But stay in heart and out of the mind. All of the mind's tracings and workings and brilliancies to me are really worthless. I mean, they're pretty. They're like a pretty vase to look at. Yes, it's lovely. You hold it up in the light and, oh, that's neat. And you can ooh and ah. But mind in itself, I'm not finding value in. As a matter of fact, I'm finding the opposite of value in it. I'm finding it's the net in which we're trapped. And as long as we stay within it, we stay trapped. And when we're trapped in this net, I've been quietly promoting peaceful non-compliance as a way to step into being sovereign, and as a way of just saying no. And the important part of this, I think, is not to react, not to get pulled in, not to get drawn in, not to buy into beliefs. It's only when we buy into something we're believing that we get all emotional and excited, and sometimes we do things or say things that we wish we hadn't, and so on and so forth. And I think that's a way that our energy is stolen from us, is in the midst of all of that. it's not a particularly enlightening situation there. I don't see that we come out with a net gain unless it's learning, unless it's experience. Now, do we make use of it? Experience that isn't digested, assimilated, that isn't even noticed, um, is somewhat less than useful. And so I'm just, and maybe it's just a product of the cycle, the stage, the phase where I am now. Maybe it's the upcoming lunar eclipse. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm truly not finding anything right now in mind that is beneficial. One of the major things that it does, when you're in the mind, it is nearly impossible to stay in the present moment. I almost wonder if the mind is even present in the present moment, because it wants you to be elsewhere or elsewhen. And time and space are not two separate things. They are like the XY coordinates. They are like the different sides of one coin. They are intimately linked and united. And so if you've moved in space, you've moved in time. I have fun sometimes contemplating when we're seeing a star, depending upon the number of light years distant. That's how far into the past we're literally seeing the past when we're seeing the light of the star, because it took that light that long to traverse that distance. And so time and space are really different aspects of one thing. I'm not even sure they're different aspects. I think our bodies are very illusory in the way that the senses operate. And I'm finding more and more joy and fulfillment in just trusting heart and just going where that leads, and just being peaceful with things. And when you unplug, when you can step back and distance yourself, at least to a certain extent, from the mind and all of its triumphs and travails and its processing and its ruminating and all the rest of it, when you can distance yourself from that, I find two things very consistent: joy and peace. And I have to capitalize both words because they are otherworldly. Now, I'm not saying it's being beamed in from an ET or a star, but I'm saying it's so different than any concept the mind might have for these things that it needs some sort of a distinction, and so I use the initial capital letter. And there's such comfort there. While you're there, firmly and solidly that everyone, all of our brethren everywhere, have this same portal, this same heart, this same opportunity. And I don't know, this is kind of linear. But I want to say you access the major part of yourself through the heart. What we access through the human being mode is precious little of who and what we are. You can't really tell who you are by the person, by the persona, by the whatever you want to call it. And so by going into heart, we're in for surprises because we haven't been taught to know ourselves. And we have all these concepts in the way. They do get in the way. We have all these ideas about who and what we are, who and what reality is, who and what time and space is, how things work. We're just riddled with concepts, all of which need to go. So, get the hip boots on and the shovels and the gloves and get cracking, as we patiently weed through these things. And we all have guides. We have divine assistance. We have our own divinity to call on, higher self. But we also have beings of light that work with us, and we might as well begin talking about them, because it's my belief and understanding that as the frequencies and the energies are rising in the solar system and here on the earth, um, we're going to begin to see more and more of what was other dimensions. I don't know whether the dimensions themselves are kind of merging as we rise up above 3D, or whether in some way our frequency range that we're able to perceive is expanding. Maybe both, maybe neither, maybe something else. I don't know. But I think we can get ready to begin seeing things and perceiving things that we're not used to. And, no worries, no fears, just be in heart. The thing is, it already is what it is. All of these things that we're not perceiving with the five senses, they're there, they're here, they're around us already. Just because you don't see auras doesn't mean they don't exist. And so this is the part where you say there's nothing new under the sun, because it all already just is. But we're not used to directly interacting with it, and it's not used to being seen by us either. And so no doubt we have some delightful and intriguing things that will be playing out as we step up into higher frequencies and higher consciousness. But I think one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves is begin to recognize that mind is not your friend. Whatever else it is, it can be a servant. It's necessary and useful for certain things. I mean, you don't survive too well in 3D without one. But when it comes to the higher self, inner self, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to the real you, the soul, the essence, the whatever, I'm not even sure mind is a part of that. It just seems to be so much in the way it's been used against us. Let's put it that way. I think I can safely say that. Mind has been used as an instrument to entrap us and to keep us tied down, locked down, tied up, befuddled, muddled, and asleep. And so, thank God we're coming up and out of that. But it's shocking, because nothing, literally nothing, is like we thought it was. All of the beliefs that we've been fed, and it wasn't, your parents were not malicious people trying to program you into some kind of a hypnotized zombie. It's not like that. That's way too simplistic. You might find your mind getting in there trying to figure things out, and I'm trying to coach you along and say, don't listen to that. You're not going to get any benefit from it. All it does is keep you away from now. Just be in your heart and know that you already know things. You understand things. And if you want to contact and connect with your own inner knowledge and understanding, go to heart and do your very best, as much as you can, whenever you think of it, to ignore the mind. A good start on this is simply not to take it so seriously. Things that get you all worked up, if you see yourself worked up over anything, take 3 steps back and kind of look at that and ponder and ask yourself, what am I believing here that's got me in this state? What are the underlying beliefs? And I'm going to take it further. What are the underlying beliefs that are being used to manipulate and control me into this state? Beliefs, my friends. Let's get rid of beliefs. Let's keep shucking them. Let's keep peeling the onion or the artichoke. Let's get down to whatever's in the heart. Maybe that's us, huh? I'll meet you there. See you soon.